You know the saying, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? Practice, practice, practice. Looking back, it's amazing to see where Garry's talents have taken him. He studied music at the Interlochen Arts Academy, Oberlin Conservatory of Music, and Northern Illinois University. Garry even played Carnegie Hall with his high school orchestra. But who would have thought that this guy would play Carnegie Hall a dozen or so more times over the next 55 years? And not only that, his Chimes played Carnegie Hall as part of its centennial celebration. And who would have thought that this hippie, rummaging for materials in a junkyard, would end up making and selling over 1 million wind chimes a year? But that's exactly what happened. You know this story. Garry found aluminum lawn chairs in the local landfill and cut the tubes to length. The result was Garry's adapted lawn chair. Then he refined the materials and the design and tuned it to the tones used in a scale created by Olympus, a Greek flute player from the 7th century BC. Garry then had a brainstorm, and he turned his creation into a wind chime, a finely tuned musical instrument that's played by the wind. This became the first Woodstock chime, the Chimes of Olympus. Garry tells a wonderful story of making one of his first sales, but you should hear it from him.
So I'm not really a shy person, but when it comes to sales, I guess I don't like to be rejected. You guys know what that's all about. So I put a lot of my emphasis into marketing, but Diane, on the other hand, my wife, was good at sales because she could say, this is my husband and he does this so well, blah, 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 which she doesn't always say, but she did when we went into a store, a local store, years ago when we first started the business, and we were looking to have some wholesale accounts. And we met with a buyer in their store during the daytime. Customers were there, and we pulled out the wind chime and said, you know, we make these locally. Are you interested? And she kind of, I don't think so. This is a fine arts gallery and blah, blah, blah. Nah, that won't work. We don't sell anything like that, right? So, well, we were kind of disappointed, but we walked outside and we're standing by our car on the curb, and a woman came up to us and said, I heard you in that store. These chimes are amazing. Can I buy one? So we sold her that one.
Garry's hard work got an extra bump from not one but two big media opportunities. In 1980, he was interviewed by Susan Stamberg of NPR's All Things Considered. Later that year, having learned that NBC's Gene Shalit was buying Woodstock chimes to give as gifts, turned into a full-fledged interview on the Today Show.
Now, and in our lifestyle segment this morning, there's music in the wind. The wind has never sounded quite so good.
The other range, from the melancholy to the totally bright sound, the bright sound is this.
Talk about exposure. Woodstock Chimes was off and running. And with the help of dedicated employees and super talented salespeople, Woodstock Chimes are now known and loved all over the world. And besides being the world's favorite chime maker, Garry also cooks, blogs, and drives his antique Buick every chance he gets, all while insisting on the highest level of professionalism in the office. But above all, he's a family man and a professional musician who travels the world performing with Nexus Percussion. We're proud to say Woodstock Chimes has become the best-known wind chime in the world. The line has grown and expanded to include bells, gongs, kids' musical instruments, and most recently, stunning crystal sun catchers. And to think, it all started with one crazy hippie musician who just wanted to hear a scale created by Olympus, a flute player who lived in Greece thousands of years ago. Here's a performance of Garry with Nexus.